So, welcome back to the Toxie and Sierra Power Hour.
Woo!
We are going to start writing our Craigslist ad, right?
Right? It's already done.
It's already done.
Kelly Guy wrote it. It's plain, simple, and sweet. Seriously. I had it something all, I was writing something all, like we host a radio show, blah, blah, blah. It's about love, life, and living as a BBW, blah, 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 blah. And
Basically,
he's
what our
like,
website says.
right. And he's like, how about two hilarious fat chicks doing a radio show right now? And
Call
then
in.
right? And that's basically it. So if you're a BBW and proud or a BB lover of BBWs or fat chicks, call in now and tell us why.
That's a good one.
So bam, that does it right there.
Sure does.
Let's get that shiz in.
Shizzle. All right. Sorry, I gotta make room over here. There's like 85 freaking keyboards and computers and shit all over the place.
So in the meantime, let's call these ladies.
I don't know if they can talk.
Can they talk?
I don't know. I know Desiree's in a shit ton of pain, and so is. Here, I'll let you read them. Some long ass shit. Starting there. Some long ass text messages.
I got
So, those of you who are watching cannot see, but I happen to have my adorable little tablet right here set up. Do you know why I have my adorable little tablet setting right
Why do
here?
you have your adorable little tablet set right there?
Because I am currently addicted to House
Do
of
not even tell me
Cards.
you're like going to watch it while we're on air.
No, no, no. I was watching it while we were setting up because I love being able to watch Netflix on my tablet because I can take it with me everywhere and I'm not stuck on my big TV or wherever
Oh,
my
I didn't get
laptop
any of
is.
Dez's.
Oh, you didn't get any of
No,
Dez's? Oh. So, I take it with me everywhere. I would like you all to know that I have essentially, when I'm at home, except for a few hours today, my tablet is on and Netflix is
And yours
playing.
I didn't get either. About broken doves.
No. So,
Hmm.
my I poop and watch House of Cards. That's how I got all the way through Orange is the New Black in like 3 days. I had to watch all of one episode left of season one and all of season two because season three's coming up
Yeah, I'm
in
gonna binge
June.
them again right before season 3 starts. Let's talk Orange is the New Black. Now let me just tell you, because I watched it when season 2 came out and haven't since,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have to refresh me on some things, but I do know that it is the best fucking show out there. And just anyone who's listening right now, at this point, both seasons have been out long enough. We'll say spoiler alert, but if you haven't seen it, like, you're fucking missing out. And
And
we need to
honestly,
talk about it.
there is enough stuff that we've forgotten that maybe it doesn't progress the main part of the storyline, but they are such interesting. There are okay. So here's the deal. There's this girl who once when she was being a lesbian, uh, did a drug mule run for her lesbian girlfriend.
And it was just one time.
Just one
Her
time.
her girlfriend, played by, oh god, and I know all of these
It's
ladies'
the
names.
girl
I can't think
from
of it.
that 70s
Laura
show.
Laura Papalar Papalar's. Anyway, she's been in a lot of different things, but she plays
She
her
plays.
girlfriend Alex.
Hmm.
And so many, many years ago, she was a big drug runner working for this big drug guy, and gets her girlfriend Piper to do one quick little international trip.
Right?
Little international trip.
With not even a whole lot of drugs on her, really.
Prepping.
Preppin', yeah.
Thank you, Wendy.
Laura Preppin. Of course, Wendy knows all the lesbians' names. Um, yeah, so she does this one drug run one time for her girlfriend, who's like the third right hand man to the biggest international drug lord in the world.
Right.
And years and years later, she gets subpoenaed to appear in court and she gets found guilty of this drug run because somebody squealed her name as one of the mules and they had all this evidence for it and so she got popped with what 13 months. She has to go to federal
Yes.
prison for 13 months. And come to find out later that it was her lesbian girlfriend who ratted her out to the
But
feds.
it's again, spoiler alert. Alex is trying to convince her that it wasn't actually her. Her boyfriend, played by pie fucker from American American Pie, Jason. Oh, why the fuck are all these names slipping me. This is the stuff I know. Don't talk to me about politics. Talk to me about this shit. Okay, now I'm gonna hold on. It's gonna bother me if their names are not in front of me.
So she's gonna pull up the cast list.
Yes.
Yeah, so Jason Sims,
No,
Jason something. Anyway, he plays Piper's current boyfriend, fiance. They're engaged to get
they're
married,
engaged.
and his dad is a lawyer.
He
And
doesn't know that she had this background. He doesn't know that, that she was a lesbian for a while.
yeah, no, he didn't know
He had
any
no
of it.
idea.
But she told him as soon as she found out what was going on. She told him, which is the smart thing to do, ladies. You don't talk about your past until your
Jason
past.
Biggs.
That's it. You don't talk about your past until your past needs to be talked about. That's how this runs. You're not lying to him. You're just not telling him the whole truth. And listen, if she had never gotten caught, what point would it have ever been to tell her boyfriend, "Oh, I was a lesbian for a year and a half and I muled some drugs across the border for a large international drug cartel." No reason to tell anybody that. No reason at all. Unless you're like me and you get drunk and tell stories about the time you used to work for people who you shouldn't talk about you used to work for.
And one time,
And this
sorry,
one time at drug camp,
one time
um,
at drug camp.
yeah.
Okay, so now she goes away and meets this really awesome cast of characters. I have to tell you, okay, again,
Who's your
and
favorite?
the people in here are, I love you guys because they're telling me all these things I'm forgetting. So there were every name I'm forgetting, somebody in chat is reminding me. So my favorite is, hold on. Oh, I
Crazy
do
Eyes?
like Pusey. I love Crazy Eyes. Like,
She's your favorite?
I threw my pie for
Miss
you.
Suzanne Walker?
I totally love her. But I love the whole the girl who's pregnant and
That
her whole like
storyline.
little story with the right with
The
the
security
security
guard.
guard and
Yeah.
everything,
Or the
and then
CO.
porn stash like totally getting involved and
So, okay, Porn Stash is both my favorite and least favorite character at the exact same time. Like, he
Daya
is
is the girl's
Daya,
name.
yeah. So Porn Stash, and here's the thing. So I watch my Netflix with the closed captions on because sometimes I can't hear it because the baby cries. And so I have the closed caption on. And when the closed caption comes on, if a character is speaking and they're off screen, their name is in parentheses around before the words they speak. On the closed captioning for Netflix, his name is Porn Stash. It comes up Porn Stash and then whatever he is saying, and I
Right.
think that's hilarious that they don't use his actual name. They use his name that all of the inmates call him, Porn Stash. Um, my favorite character is the Russian lady,
I do,
Red.
yes,
Red
Red.
is
I
my
like her as
favorite.
well.
She is
Definitely a lot
one,
more focus on her in the second
yeah,
season.
and
We're getting a lot more
she
background.
is one tough motherfucker. So we come to find out like 10 years ago, she got the shit beat out of her by an inmate gang. And not only did she bounce back from that, but she ended up becoming like running the whole goddamn inmate gig.
Right.
And then she gets the shit beat out of her by another inmate in the second season, and she comes back from that and she gonna run the goddamn inmate gang again. Like she's not fucking around. Like she got her head bashed in by what they call slocking, which is if okay. So if you've ever watched Full Metal Jacket, you've seen where they put soap in a sock and then beat the shit
But
out of the guy out of it.
isn't batteries in the sock or something?
No,
What's in the
it's soap. It's just a
Oh,
soap, but bar soap is pretty goddamn heavy, and I'm gonna tell you, a man who's in the Marines swings that shit at your fucking face, you're gonna have a broken nose. I don't care if it's soap or not. But slocking is where they take the combination locks that they used to lock their foot lockers in the prison and
right.
put it in a sock. Slocks, get it? Sock and lock, slocking. And then they beat you with that shit. That ain't no goddamn game right there. That's a she got like fractured skulls and a busted ass eye socket and shit. Like she got the fuck beat out of her. And I am so glad. Major spoiler alert if you haven't watched the end of the second season. I am so glad that cunt got run over by the van.
Um, okay.
You haven't watched the end of the second
I
season?
have, but
What? You
I
don't think
read.
she's dead?
No, I don't think she's dead.
God damn it. I hope she fucking dies. That fucking cunt. She has done nothing but fuck everyone over in her life, even the people who are most loyal to her. But I'm super glad that she got. You know what? If she lives, I'll be okay with that because she got hit by a fucking van, and I'm okay with that.
Driven by the woman with cancer
Yeah,
who
the girl who was
and they did a lot of background on her as well.
the
She
bank
was a
robber from
bank
the
robber.
70s.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And she was, let's see, which one is that? Oh, there's Yoga Jones, Sister Jane. I mean, the second season, I think, really went into a lot of background on some of them. I love Sophia Bursett. She's actually the first transgender to be on the cover of, I believe, Time.
She's the one playing the transgender on the show, right?
Right.
Yes.
And there's scenes in the very beginning where it's flashbacks to her pre surgery, pre transformation.
Uh,
And the pre is actually her twin brother.
really?
Yeah.
That's crazy
Yeah,
pants.
so it's not her. It's not her, in disguise. It is her
It's
twin
not
brother in
her
real
in
life.
drag. Isn't
Right.
that what it would be, drag?
No, because
Is she
she's
fully transitioned?
I believe
I know
she
on the show she's fully transitioned. That's the reason she's in prison is she
mm,
committed massive amounts of credit
credit
card
card
fraud
fraud, yeah.
so that she could get, the penis thing taken care of. And by her
Because that's
son
why she needs the
Nike's.
hormones
Right.
that they, try to mess with.
Yeah.
I believe so. Give me 1 second, I'll tell you.
But so at first everybody was talking about this amazing show, and I have a problem with shows that glamorize illegal behaviors.
Right, but this is, I mean, you just can't help. Like, you
No,
find
because
yourself sometimes, even though they're, at the end of the day, they're criminals,
right.
like, you're rooting for them.
Well, so here's the thing. A lot of them you see them being rehabilitated in prison. A lot of them you see where their time in prison and even the shitty programs that are available at this fucking place, even those shitty programs and the programs that the inmates do for themselves. So Red has this thing about she smuggles shit in, but she never does drugs. She never
Right.
smuggles in
But she'll
drugs,
smuggle in, like, lipstick and,
eyeshadow and
eyeshadow and
pantyhose and yeah.
right. She's the
She
one to go to.
Yeah, you want a fucking Snickers bar and it ain't in the PX or the commissary, then she will send it. She will get it in for you. Like, what'd she get? Jolly Ranchers for Boo one time?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Boo's another one that I both alternately love and hate. Big Boo, they call her, because she had the dog for a little while that they called Little Boo. But anyway, you really see how some of these internal programs help to rehabilitate these people, and then there are some people like Yoga Jones who she's in for murder, but then you find out what her story is and it was a complete fucking accident. She got drunk one night and was trying to protect her marijuana fields from what she thought was a deer and it turned out to be an 8-year-old kid and but
Right.
she didn't
And
meet
she's yoga or what she's a
Yoga
total like
Jones.
yeah, she's just
Yeah.
a total like hippie, like I'm just gonna live off the earth, I'm going to love.
Peace, love and
I'm
happiness
going to
hippie.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Like I'm just gonna do my thing. So she was kind of an accidental criminal.
Right, and I'm not entirely certain why Pusey is in. They haven't really covered why she got in.
They
I mean, they did her background about how her dad's in the military and he was stationed at some special station in Germany and she fell in love with the German base commander's daughter and they were having like a lesbian scissory thing and they got caught.
scissory thing.
Yeah, they got caught and as a result of it, he sent her dad back to the America and it's that was really sad, but they never really covered why she got arrested, why she's in. The other one is Pusey's best friend. What's her fucking name? Tasty.
Tasty's awesome. Like I love Tasty, but Tasty had to come back.
Yeah.
Tasty was a really great character. She's like a really like fun, bubbly kind of, girl, but she was getting out in the first season.
Yeah, she got out.
So,
She was out for 2 weeks and then she ended up back in again. And she told a story that I've heard so many times. I got out and I had nothing. They
right,
expected all of this from me after I got out, and
right.
there was no way
Nowhere
for
to
me to
go.
deliver. There was no support for me. There was no place for me to go, no job waiting for me when I got out. They made unrealistic expectations of me. And she said, and besides, I don't know how to live outside anymore. Now she's was in for like 2 or 3 years or something like
Yeah.
that. She's like, I don't know how to live on the outside anymore. Here, I get up every morning at the same time. I wear the same clothes. I eat the same food. I have friends here. I have family here. And you know what? that's the sad truth is for some of these women, that's the only stable life or stable home they've ever had. And it's not just what they're portraying in real life, but what they're portraying or what they're portraying on the show, but this really happens in real life too. A lot of these women end up in prison because they didn't have a stable home and they ended up doing criminal acts because that was the only way they knew how to survive. And then they find this stability in prison, this stability that gives them the structure they've always wanted and always needed. And then when they do get out, they don't know how to survive, just like they didn't know how to live really before. And they crave that stability when they get back. They make themselves get back in. It's why a
Right.
lot of
That's why,
women,
well, the recidivism rate is just so high in general. It's
yeah.
ridiculous. But you also have a lot of people, it's even a problem here in Las Vegas. I mean,
Hmm.
for example, my my sister doesn't hang out with the, the most upstanding citizens of this town,
Oh, and like
but
mine does.
but she has a couple where she's like, "Oh, so and so, is back in prison and he had nowhere to go. So he's like three hots and a cot."
Right.
And what are you gonna do? So
Well,
sometimes there's not a lot of
I'll
there's
tell you,
transitional housing and
but there's no other support programs
there's
really.
there's certain things that they do have to they do have to, enter and follow up with the parole officer. I originally went to school for at one point criminal justice, and I was going to be a juvenile probation officer until the first time I actually went to the facility, and then I realized there's no fucking way I can do this.
Mm-mm.
No fucking way. I mean, they
No,
took us
you
through and they're like, here's where the kids like hide their shivs, and the reason there's no TVs in the common room is because, they had one, they used it to
beat
beat a
someone up.
CO,
Yeah.
and then they got another one and they did the same thing. And so now they lost their TV, and I realized, I'm not that tough.
No,
I'm just I'm not
your
I'm not
compassion fatigue
thick-skinned.
would end within the first week. You'd be
Right.
right into therapy right after that. No,
Right.
it, it's pretty insane. One of the things that really opened my eyes to was the recidivism problem, the problem of these women and men. I'm assuming it's the same way for
It is the
boys,
same for men.
that they get out and the only structure they've ever known in life is prison,
Right.
that
Hmm.
regimented structure, and they get out, they don't have that structure anymore. They really don't know how to live. So it's a radical idea that I have. And of course, it's never going to go anywhere beyond, you people who listen. But so we have um, a giant military, right? And we love our military, and we're currently kind of in a time of peace, but we're at a really low, recruitment age right now. There's not a lot of people volunteering for the military, and for the most part, I think that if you want to volunteer, you should. But I don't think we should be actively recruiting, kind of like proselytizing, like churches do. We have a huge base of people who would love to serve in the United States military to get their citizenship. I think we should start a citizenship program with our military. You come over here on a work visa, you sign up for a 4 year term, you get through basic, you get through your job training, you serve your 4 year term, and when you get out, we hand you a green card. Welcome to America. Now go get a regular job or reenlist. I think there should be a secondary program for non-violent criminals, and we're talking about non-rapists. Um, in murder, it would have to depend on the murder, the type of murder it was. Because, for instance, Yoke Jones was accidental. It was an accidental.
Hmm.
She did not mean to kill that 8-year-old boy. The reason she got such a high sentence is because he was 8 and she was drunk. Like that's the reason she got the high sentence.
Was she drunk or was she high?
She was drunk.
Oh, okay.
She in that scene where she talked about it with I forget who the hell she was talking to about it, but I think it was Poussey. But she was talking to him about the what happened. She didn't really smoke a lot, but she drank a lot, and she talked about how wasted, drunk
Hmm.
she was when she did it. So there should be a program for these people who are coming out, and it would probably end recidivism, or not end it, but reduce it by quite a bit. So you get out and you have a choice. You can go back into the civilian world where you have to find a job, have to find a home, have to do this, have to do that, or you can join, it's entirely voluntary. You can join the military. Pick a branch of military, and you will go to basic training, and you will go through job training, and then you will become a part of, a particular part of the military branch where it's mostly or 100% former convicts. And you all, because you all have similar stories, similar backgrounds, you know how to work with each other already. You've, whatever. And so these are the people who they've been reformed in prison, but they would end up back in prison because they don't know how to live outside of it. But I'm telling you, watching Orange is the New Black, a year in prison is no different than a year in basic training. If you had to do a year of basic training, it would be exactly the same as a year in prison, except that um, you are not punished quite the way they are, and there is an end game here, and you learn an amazing skill. The basic training is not a year long, it's 6 to 8 weeks, 9 weeks, depending on which branch you serve. But that regimented structure of you get up in the morning, this is what you wear, these are the types of makeups you can wear, this is how you can do your hair, this is what you'll do from 8 to 9, this is what you do from 9 to 10, this is when lunch is, this is when you go to the bathroom, this is how much you can drink, all of these other things, no different really than being in the military, especially a really structured military setting like basic training. And you could set up an entire regiment or an entire garrison or fucking a whole base full of former convicts who, before a review board has decided they can rejoin society and they get the choice of going back into the civilian world or you can join the military service. And then it's a really morbid thought, but if a vast majority of our military is made up of volunteers who are joined the military to become American citizens and volunteers who join the military to relearn how to be civilians you know, through the military out of, prison, if we go to war, not a whole lot of loss of American lives that really matter that much. Kind of twisted, I know, and Toxie hates me for saying that, but that's how I see it. Because we see all the stories all the time about Johnny Be Good, who was the upstanding, fine young man from the small hometown high school, and he joined the army and blew both his legs off and then killed himself when he got home because the VA couldn't provide them with the PTSD therapy that he needed. Well, Jose Gonzalez from El Salvador, not going to be a whole lot of giving a rat's ass.
That is not
It's
true. That is
terrible.
awful.
I know it's awful.
That
I
is
don't really mean
awful.
that.
A human life is a human
Yes, as
life.
a former United
Mm,
States
mm.
Army person, I would have to say that that is terrible. I don't actually mean it. I just said it to shock Toxie. And it works because I know it shocks her.
I feel a little tear inside. Like, I want to
No,
cry for all
I'm
these people
sad.
you just randomly killed off.
Yeah, but our military service then has truly dedicated people who are in the army. They're in the army for all the right reasons. They're in the army to become an American citizen, a fine, upstanding American citizen who has training and a job skill and knows and has learned how to take care of themselves and has a passion for being an American patriot. And those are the kind of people I want in the military, and those are also the kind of people I
But do
want to
you,
become
okay, first off,
civilians.
just to play devil's advocate
Uh
here,
huh.
do you do you know that if and I like to see the best in people, I really do. But if all of these individuals come in and they're coming just for that reason, how dedicated are they to why they're here?
I will tell you, once you get out of basic training, you are absolutely dedicated. There is basic trainings. Okay, everyone thinks that basic training is about preparing you to join the military, and it is uh, to an extent. Basic training is, and I'm going to put it out there, and a lot of people are going to be mad at me for saying it, but it is brainwashing. I've been through basic training. I knew what was going to happen because I have come from a background of people who've been in the military. I served for a full year before I even went to basic training. That's a twisted story, but so I knew what I was walking into. A lot of people join basic training without knowing, but so here's the point of basic training. The basic training's point is to prepare you mentally and physically for going to war. That's what it is for. It is not for making you um It's not for making you a better person. It's mentally and physically preparing you to go to war. And you cannot go to war if you are not 100% dedicated to the country you are fighting for. And so part of that mental preparation is turning you into an American patriot. And that is, there's so many little things that go on with that. There's the code of honor that you have to memorize, and the American creeds and all these other things that you have to memorize that become part of your daily structure. Every day you are inundated with how amazing it is to be an American, how much you should be dedicated to it, and it is I, a lot of people think other foreign countries do it, but we're not guilty of it. We're absolutely 100% guilty of brainwashing people into becoming American patriots. That is the point of the mental training in basic training. So if they make it through basic, and that's a big if because there is a huge dropout rate, because the at least the army, most other military services, they have one rule: at any time you can walk away. If you now they don't make it easy, but if at any point during basic training you can't take it anymore, you go up to any sergeant, anyone in any sort of position of power up there, and you just say, I'm done, I can't do this anymore. And they will outprocess you. They debrief you, they put you through the proper channels you need to. They will send you to see a therapist to make sure, are you sure this is what you want to do? They do everything they can to keep you because they've invested time and money in you. They want you to pass through basic training. They want you to be proud of yourself, proud of your country, proud of the service that you're going to provide. But if you don't want to be there, they don't want you there. Because what you will do is the same thing that one bad seed in prison will do, and that is fuck everyone else up. You get one person in there, that's why they don't like the protest girl. The COs hate that protest girl because you put her in there and she starts causing problems with all the other inmates who've been fine with the way. Oh, it's top of the hour. We get rid of that for you. They get rid of those people as quickly as possible because they don't want them in there. Um, so, on your question of are those the people you really want in? Yes, because once they make it out of basic training, they are exactly the kind of American citizen I want. Someone who is dedicated to this country, who wants to learn a skill and trade so that they can serve the country that they are going to become a part of, and become
So,
contributing members of American society.
okay, so let's just say I'm just, again, just throwing this out there. So let's just say we go the route of if you want to be a citizen, become a citizen, join the army.
Right.
So now we have people who join, and
Hmm.
I'm just going to use any country. We will use France because you talked about them before.
France is stupid.
Um, so a bunch of French nationals come, join our army, and then we go to war against France. They're not American citizens yet.
No, no, you're right. Technically, if they don't serve their full 4 year
So what's
term,
to say that if France wanted to overtake our military or do harm to our military, that they wouldn't infuse our military with citizenship seeking French people? And this can apply to any country.
mm,
Um, what's to say they don't infuse our army with that? And then,
that is a calculated risk that we would have to take. But uh, applying for a work visa requires some pretty extensive background checking before you can
right.
get that work visa. And
People can
that's
come with
step
and go
one.
through extensive background checks and still blow us the fuck up.
You are right. The likelihood of that, there is a percentage point for it. I won't stick it out there because I don't know what it is. Uh, I'm sure there's a likelihood for it, but I believe that there will be enough people who truly, truly want to become American citizens that those bad apples will eventually get weeded out. Because one of the things that they're going to do is try to recruit within the ranks. And they're going to come up against some guy who came out of a one really shitty situation in the country he was in. And they come to him and be like, hey, we're going to do this, this, and this. You want to join us? And he'll report it to the proper
All right.
authorities, I
First and
think.
foremost, I apparently watched too much 24.
Okay.
Um, because I don't see, I don't see it going well. Second, Cali guy is so technical. He said actually the French have long had the Foreign Legion.
It's what the Foreign Legion is their version of
Non.
what I'm saying.
Right, right.
Yeah,
I was just using them as an example.
right,
Um, as far as for these, there's a lot of other places I could have picked
right.
that would have made a little bit more sense, but
She doesn't want to offend any. I
Ah,
kill you dead.
no, 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 no.
Boom.
I just picked.
Well,
You're awful.
I'm terrible. And I don't give a fuck. You know why I don't give a fuck that I'm so terrible? Because I am offensive equally across the
You
board.
are. You are
I
equally offensive. That
I
is
I am
so
an
true.
I am an equal opportunity offender. That I will do my very best to make sure that I make fun of everyone equally,
Oh, wait, hold
even
on.
my own
To
redneck
finish,
hipper fuckies.
to finish, as he said, the French have long had the Foreign Legion, which only accepts non-French citizens, precisely because it is politically easier to send non-citizens to war, because no crying moms who are voters.
That's right. It's a terrible thing, but France does it. Well, maybe we shouldn't do it. France is stupid after all.
What? I missed it. Why is France stupid?
Okay, so France isn't actually stupid. I'm just using that because, well, they are cheese eating surrender monkeys. But no, so France is trying to pass a government bill
Right.
that will dictate a minimum BMI for models who model products in France.
Okay.
Now, that's a great idea to try to promote a healthy body image and to get rid of this unhealthy, twiggy, count your internal organs through your skinniness that goes on in supermodel world. Um, However, I know we've discussed this before. BMI is shit. It's crock. It was created by a guy who's neither a doctor, a scientist, or a mathematician. Just some dude came up with some random formula that we use now that means nothing really. We know some people who are svelte, good-looking, well-built people who would be considered obese because their
Right.
BMI says that they're in
Right.
the obese category. Although, uh, for very instance, Slim Tim, a friend of the show, he is considered morbidly obese, even though he's lost half of his body weight, literally half of his body weight, and he runs marathons not just like regularly, he trains for them every day. He runs 5 to 10 miles every day. He eats a healthy lifestyle,
Yeah.
he lives a healthy lifestyle. He runs motherfucking marathons and tough mans and shit. But doctors would look at him and tell him he's morbidly obese because of where he falls in the BMI chart. I hate to tell you this, that motherfucker's healthier than half the people I work for who weigh less than 120 pounds.
Yeah. We have that with my daughter where she's high on the BMI chart.
But
And
there is
so
no way you could
she's
tell me she's unhealthy.
yeah, no. And even her pediatrician was like, we're not going to use these, like, as long as she's doing this and this and she stays active. And I'm like,
I would have to
she's
average that your
probably a
daughter
little
runs like 10 miles a day,
she's got to.
at
And now
least.
she wants to add, she hates running. She actually hates the physical act of running.
Uh-huh.
But she realized that if you run a Disney marathon, you get a Disney themed medal and would like to start running Disney marathons. So she has researched it and feels, she wants to start out with a 5K. And I agreed I will not take her to Florida for one. Like it will have to be in
Mm.
California, but she will have to research and follow the proper techniques to train for it, which she is all for. This is someone who hates running.
Well, we can put
But
her in contact with Slim Tim, who's run so many marathons. He would
right. Well,
absolutely have the right
my
information for her.
her uncle's fiance is a marathon runner as
The one in
well.
Alaska.
No, 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 no. They're not. No. This is my husband's brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, my in-laws are very Disney focused, so they like they'll be all over this.
Right.
My sister-in-law just ran her first marathon, but not at Disney, somewhere else out there.
Mm.
But anyway, so that's what she wants to do. Her pediatrician even invited her to run in a special marathon with her, like as a representative of their pediatric group. And so she's like, "Yeah, we're good, but if you look at my child on paper,
She looks like she's
yeah,
morbidly obese
right,
or
right,
obese or whatever the fuck you
right,
want to
on
call it.
paper." And I mean, if you look at her, she's bigger too. She's built like a fucking brick wall. She is.
Yeah.
She just is. But you know what?
Yeah, that's the sad part about it. So, okay, so
Oh,
France
and here,
wants
real
to
quick, Callie Guy said all bodybuilders are considered morbidly obese by BMI
standards. Yep.
standards, even with 3% body fat.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So BMI is shit. And so France wants to implement a minimum BMI for supermodels. I love the idea that France wants to have healthier body images for their models and people who model their products. But as I was saying when you came in, I think companies, I don't want the government telling companies what they can and cannot do in their marketing practices because I want companies to prove how smart they are or how stupid they are. I don't shop at stupid companies. I shop at smart companies. I shop at Target where they have a beautiful plus size line that they like everyone was mad because Target took their plus size line out, but they took it out because they were revamping it.
Right.
And this new line that they have out
Have
is
you where have you
gorgeous.
found a new line? Because every time I go to Target, it's 3 racks of plus size, and then all the rest is
Maternity.
maternity.
Well, you have to be careful because it's just being released for this spring is the first release of it. They're still kind of learning how to merchandise it. Um, in the Target that I go to on Maryland and Flamingo,
Mhm.
it is between the maternity section and the regular women's section, and it's not. The thing is they haven't labeled it separately as plus size. They are including it in their all of their merchandising for
Right.
women's clothing. They're not separately merchandising it as plus size. They have it separated so that this line, this particular, and I can't remember the name of it, is all in like one area. But they do the same thing with Massimo and they do the same thing with their Steve Madden and all of the other stuff that they carry. It's not all mixed together. It's like this line is here, this line is here, Target's brand is here, and then this brand is here. It happens to be the plus size brand, but it's in the same kind of merchandising category that it's just part of their women's section.
Mm.
It's no longer separated out as plus size. And I think right now plus size women are confused by that because in every other store you shop in, unless it's a plus size store, the plus size section is separate and clearly marked. Whereas Target is doing something sneaky, and I think it's a great sneaky. They're just including it in their women's section. They're not making it special. They're not making it different. They're not making it separate. Um, like before, maternity separated the plus size from the regular stuff.
Right.
Now, maternity is still on the same end as plus size, but they have incorporated plus size on the other side of it to make it part of just their women's clothing. And so we're not segregating you, we're not making you separate or different or making you shop in a different part of the store. You're shopping right next to the girl who's a size 6. Like she's on this rack looking through, Target's brand of stuff or the Michael Kors stuff or whatever, and you're just on this side sorting through this brand. And I think that's great. And I think that's the way most stores who carry plus sizes should go. Either incorporate it in your regular women's department or do like what Target does, which they've always done. It's not a new thing that they're doing. They've always merchandised different brands separately within the women's section. It's all together, but this rack is all going to be Steve Madden. This rack is all going to be Target's line, and this is all going to be the Massimo, and this is all going to be the other stuff that they carry. And this section will all be this line, which happens to be the plus size line. I think it's a great marketing strategy. Um, so I will shop at Target because they're a smart company. They have a plus
Right.
size line.
I like Target anyway. I can wear a lot from Target with the exception of bottoms.
Yeah.
My butt, like nothing's fitting this ass
But
and thighs at Target.
but they do have some
But
really nice new plus size
they
stuff.
have, yeah, they have. I mean, I've always been able to wear like their tops and their dresses, their maxi dresses and stuff. Totally adorable.
Mhm.
I love their V-neck T-shirts. I love just wearing a T-shirt, and I only wear V-neck because I don't like things touching my neck. So, yeah,
Yeah, but then there's companies like Abercrombie and Fitch who had that whole thing a couple of years ago
they
where they
did.
said
But they
no
didn't
ugly
want
fat
fat
people.
people.
No,
They
they
didn't
didn't.
want fat
They didn't
people.
want fat people. They didn't want ugly people.
Mhm.
And so here's the deal. I now know I have two choices. I have Abercrombie. Well, I have more than that, but I have Abercrombie and Fitch and I have Target. I will never shop at Abercrombie and Fitch. As a matter of fact, as I was saying earlier, I won't even buy their shit secondhand anymore for my kid or anyone else that I know or anything else
Oh.
like that. I'll only shop at this store that markets to what I want. I won't shop at the store that did something entirely ridiculous and put out that they don't like ugly fat people wearing their clothes. No problemo. Nobody I know that I buy clothes for will ever buy or wear Abercrombie and Fitch. Not gonna happen.
So are we gonna, do you want to go back to, we can stay on this. Or do you want to go back to Orange is the New Black quick?
Okay.
before I close it out
Okay.
because I wanted to have their names. So
Okay.
that was that's why you don't like France.
No, no, no. I don't like France for many reasons, but I think France trying to regulate something, I commend them for the idea,
Right.
but I think they should give the consumer the right to choose who they will shop for based on a company's marketing campaigns. And if a company is only going to use size 00 models whose hearts beat through their chest, I'm not going to shop there because that's not the image that I want promoted. And the less money of mine they have, the less money they can spend on marketing like that. That's so good idea, France. Bad way to go about it. I think instead, like government subsidies for companies that use healthier body image models, people who shop at companies who use all size models. It is
But
it,
then
it's
they
the
can
power
also
of the
argue
consumer.
the with the plus size models, especially with so many, Tess Holiday now becoming or being the first, I believe, of her size signed to a mainstream modeling agency.
Hmm.
Um, I think that you're also getting the opposite outcry in the fact that they're saying that they're not healthy just because she's plus size. So
Mm.
there's both ends of the spectrum when you have the very, very thin models. And then now, of course, the much thicker models, they're getting just as much, if not more, because, most people,
Think that being fat means you're
it's,
unhealthy.
yeah, or it's absolutely just like they'd rather, you murder puppies than be fat because it's disgusting.
Well, there's a happy medium somewhere in here, and I think Ross has found it. Have you seen Ross's new marketing with their new spring line that, every year
Um,
Ross puts out different lines, not their lines, it's, shit that they've bought from other people. They're one of those overflow companies. They buy whatever was not sold last season. Um, if you watch their television ads, they're using all size models in their ads.
well,
Everyone
Dove,
from
you have Dove. They use a lot of different models for a lot of their
Yeah, a lot of
campaigns.
the it's companies like that that don't just use one size or the other. The companies that
Right.
use the all sizes. When they're showing multiple women on the screen, you're seeing the girl who's an 8 and the 12 and a 16 and and maybe you get one little super skinny girl and one girl who's probably what you would consider too big at an 18 or a 20, but they're using all size models and that's the kind of marketing I like to see. Companies that say we are marketing to every woman and not just this size woman or that size woman. And that's the kind of marketing I want to see. Just me. But that's because I've been every size. My sister and I were just discussing this actually. She's losing the weight from having the baby. She wants to get down to a size 8. Right now, she's a little bit bigger than a size 12. But before she had my niece, she was a 00. She weighed less than 100 pounds. She had lost a ridiculous amount of weight and she was scary, scary skinny. As in like I thought we would need to have like a drug intervention with her kind of scary skinny. Um so anyway, so we were talking about her and the weight loss that she wants to do and everything and I told her I said, "Listen, it's going to be a lot harder than it was for you. After you have a baby, your metabolism completely changes and your body is designed now to stay fat for your kid because if you can store fat, you can technically, unless you come, like we have a faulty tit gene in my family. Neither one of us ever produced enough milk to breastfeed.
A faulty tit gene.
Faulty tit gene. Like as big as my boobies are, there ain't shit coming out of them. Same thing with my poor sister. Like she wanted to breastfeed. She was all on board with the 100% breastfeeding thing. She had one of those little breastfeeding scarves. Like she was ready for this, right? And then she never produced enough breast milk to fully satisfy her child in a single feeding, no matter what she did. And she tried them all, the supplements, the heat compresses, the showers, the massaging, and it never worked. And I did the same thing. So we have a faulty tit gene. So
Is that a technical term or is that something you made up?
something I made up.
Oh.
Um, so I was telling her, your body is going to be entirely different. And, the way you lost weight before is not going to work for you now. And you're going to probably come up with two choices. Either you are going to spend the rest of your life obsessing over diet and exercise, or you're just going to have to decide what kind of healthy lifestyle you live and be happy with the body that gives you. So,
You
you
plug
know,
that.
yeah, you don't become sedentary, you don't become I'm going to plug it in down here.
Oh, okay.
You don't become sedentary. You don't, go through all the motions of what will eventually make you a fat chick. You just live the healthy life that you want to live and be happy with the body that that gives you because that's the body nature intended for you. If you're eating a balanced diet and you're getting enough movement and exercise in your life, the body that you've been given is the body that nature or God or whatever you want to call it has decided you should have. If you want to work harder and deprive yourself of the foods that you love and deprive yourself of the time that you would have with your children by spending hours and hours and hours at the gym, that's your choice to make. But, you know, it's not the body that nature intended for you. So, probably not the healthiest route to go. But that's just my opinion. I am not a medical professional. Please talk to your doctor before you decide to live a healthy lifestyle.
Huh?
What are you doing? So, what did you want to say about Orange is the New Black?
Sorry, I have trying to get my child prepared for, bedtime for the evening here. And she's all she keeps responding about is this new font for her iPhone. And so she's like, "Look at these, it's so cool." And I'm like, "Answer my question." But this is really cool. Is that a no? But look at this one. Okay.
Stop.
It's very like focus, focus.
Right.
She has my shiny corner syndrome. Like little shiny object on the side, she's done. But anyway, I guess that was it. I mean, the season ended with we had the car hit. We had for a while Piper was out and put in a different prison in a different facility, but now she's back.
Right?
We have Porn Stash out. I don't know how much he'll be seen in the next season.
None. They've already done. I've been doing the research for the next season too.
Right.
And Porn Stash has already said you're not going to see me at all in this next season because he's in a male prison, and we're not. The Orange is the New Black is not about men in prison. It's about women in prison.
Right.
But we are going to meet Porn Stash's mom because I'm sure there's going to be some sort of custody battle over the baby because she's publicly come out and said the baby is Porn Stash's,
Right.
even though we all know that it's not.
That it's the cute little guy. What's his name?
John.
I should have this up still.
His character's name is John. I don't know what his last name is. Mendez, maybe? No, Mendez is
Mendez is,
Pornstash.
yeah.
Pornstash is
He
Mendez.
is. Let's see.
I don't even know Pornstash's real name on the show because everyone calls him fucking Pornstash, even Netflix.
Poussey, Sam Healy.
Sam
Also
Healy is
there.
the
Oh, we forgot about okay, wait, where did it we had Pennsylvania.
right. Pennsatucky and Piper got into a round of fisticuffs, and Piper knocked all of her meth infected teeth out of her
Right.
face.
And then what's his name just watched? Sam.
No, he walked away. He yeah,
He
Healy,
allowed it to happen.
right, he allowed it to happen. Like Pennsatucky had Piper cornered with a shiv and Piper's like, "Do you see this, Healy? Do you see this?" And he said, "I don't see nothing," and turned around and walked back in. And then what they left a mystery for a couple of episodes was, for most of second season, was how Piper stopped and why everyone keeps talking about how, Piper got fucked up too, even though we know she beat Pennsatucky into fucking obliteration. And
Right.
she was so worried she'd killed Pennsatucky, nobody, because she'd been in solitary since then. Nobody told her what happened. And then in like a flashback scene, halfway through the season, we find out that the reason Pennsatucky didn't die is because Crazy Eyes came out and cold clocked fucking Piper. Because the reason Crazy Eyes was so in love with her is because she looks like her mom. I didn't realize that until we
Yeah.
were doing Crazy Eyes flashbacks.
And
Piper looks
Crazy
like her
Eyes is one where
mom.
she like has this perfectly normal family. I believe she was
She
adopted
was
if I'm not
adopted.
mistaken.
Well, she didn't
But
have a
really,
completely normal family. This poor girl was a very, like, Nubian Princess Black, adopted by white hair, blonde haired, blue eyed, perfect family in the middle of nowhere. And she
right,
is
but they accepted her even though she was different.
right, and
They
she's
accepted her, and not just a
physically,
race thing, not just physically,
she had some
but the
mental
fact that she has a
problems.
few mental issues, and they always treated her like she was without any. any extra issues.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, she it looks like she had a pretty decent upbringing.
Um, yeah. I'm sorry. My sister is telling me a story about a guy she's been dating. So my sister's getting back into the dating world. Um, and she's had two different dudes on her plate. Both dudes that I originally thought were pretty cool. Like I've met them
John
both.
Bennett, by the way.
John Bennett, that's right. His name is Bennett. Um, hold on. I'm telling her to hold on. So the first guy, we'll call him normal dad. He's got one kid. He's no tattoos, never been to prison, doesn't have a drug problem. Has two jobs, not just one, but two jobs. One's full time, one's part time. Got his own place, got his own car. Life is squared away, right? Like pretty decent dude. And then about and she's known him for a really long time. Like they've been acquaintances for a really long time, and just recently he made inquiries into her possibly being dateable, and she thought, well, maybe I'll go for it. He's got his shit together, not like the last couple of dudes she's dated. We all know about the last one. Um, and invited him over for us to have like a casual all sit down and we get to know each other, and because now she's like taking my opinion on dudes pretty seriously, and I really liked the guy after having met him. He got us into Breaking Bad. I'm watching Breaking Bad on Netflix now with my sister.
Oh, I love Breaking Bad.
And
Breaking Bad was one that I would it was like a drug for me. It would be 3 in the morning.
it was
I'm
your
in my
crystal meth.
bed. Yeah, it was my crystal meth. I'm in bed, 3 a.m., blanket over my head with my daughter's iPad, like watching. Mr. Toxie leaning over, like, are you watching another? No, no, just go to bed. Just go to bed. One more, one more. And
That's how I've been with it too.
like there was one Sunday I'll never remember. Like I'll never forget. I laid in my daughter's room, and all I did all day was shift from one side of the bed to the other. And I kept asking, I'm like, can you go down and get mommy a drink? And I'm watching with like, you know.
Headphones
Anyway,
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, that I had to stop because my sister and I are watching it together, and I'm like 8 episodes ahead of her now. So I have to stop because I'm gonna have to watch these all over again.
How far are you? Are you in the last season?
No, I'm in season 2. I just started
Oh
season
my
2.
gosh, you have
Yeah,
so many good seasons to
I
go.
do. So so he got us into Breaking Bad. We had a great time. I really liked the guy. And then a couple of days later, he drunk dialed my sister at like 5 o'clock in the morning. Now we all get up early because we have jobs and lives and children to prepare for, and he's just getting off of work. He works in a casino job, so he works late nights. And apparently after work, he went and got shit faced and then drunk dialed my sister and said some rather creepy, drunky things to her. And at the end of this conversation, she comes up to me because I'm getting ready, and she's like, dude, normal dad just called me, and I don't know what the fuck was wrong with him, but he kept saying like the creepiest things, and then he just sat there on the phone and we didn't talk, and we just like had like 5 minutes of silence. She's like, I don't know what to make of it. I was like, I that's kind of creepy. Later in the day, he calls her back to apologize. Apparently, he was wasted and drunk dialed her. And she was like, I don't know if that's really what I want. She's like, if that's such a regular thing for him that it happens like right out the gate, like I don't know if that's what I want. I said, well, maybe, yeah, give him the benefit of the doubt, but then he turned into that really like kind of creepy dude because at the same time she started seeing this other guy that she knows through work. We'll call him Hairman. And I met Hairman too. Hairman's got one kid, and he's going through a divorce, and seems like a really nice guy, owns his own business. He's got a few tattoos, but so do I. Doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs, doesn't smoke. Matter of fact, he got my sister to start vaping, which I've been trying to get my sister to do and my mom forever because there's no secondhand smoke from vaping, and you can wean yourself off of nicotine much easier through vaping than you can cigarettes, patches, gums, and all that crap. And I don't mind the way it smells, so you can do it in the fucking house. I don't give a fuck. I'm not getting any secondhand smoke, and you're not making my shit smell like cigarettes. So feel free to do it in the house. So we got her into vaping, which automatically earned lots of brownie points with me. But then, so Facebook, which is the progenitor of all drama, um, so normal dad starts seeing Hair Man doing a lot of posting and liking and stuff on her Facebook page. And apparently he Facebook stalks Hair Man and starts texting my sister about, do you really want to associate with this guy who has these friends who do these things and say this kind of stuff? And she's like, why are you cyber stalking this dude? Like, that's starting to get a little
Right.
crazy. And so I think she's broken it off with normal dad. But Hair Man, so she just sent me a text. Uh, she got really mad at him because he offered to come and see her at work, and then started playing the bullshit, you know, um, do you miss me shit. The trying to get her to say, do I miss you? Be like, first off, buddy, we've only known each other for a couple of weeks. Yes, we've had sex, but that does not mean we're dating. It just means you've put it inside my vagina. And she not particularly thrilled with how that worked out. Apparently, he's not Mr. Stamina. I'm sure her words were too pump chump. Um, but she is my family after all. And he just came over to the house to break it off with her, and and disrespected her feelings. And I guess there were some words that got thrown around. They had
Aw.
an argument earlier in the week about this whole, and she was like, listen, buddy, I don't want you fishing for compliments. If you need me to be complimenting you constantly and reassuring you that I like you and I miss you and I want to see you, this is not the kind of relationship I need or want anymore. I am way too busy with my career, way too busy with my daughter, way too busy with everything else going in my life to be your uh, emotional structure, I guess. Like, she's like, I need you to be more confident in yourself, that you don't constantly need to come to me to reassure you that I like you.
Mhm.
Like, know that I like you. I'm hanging out with you. I'm trying to pursue things with you. But if this is what you're going to be doing, I can't deal with that. And apparently, he came over and got into a big fight with her. And she says Hairman just came over and broke it off with me, and after disrespecting my feelings and telling me I'm an ass for wanting to take things slow, he's now begging me to give him another chance. He seems to forget that I've known him for like half a second. I'm not dealing with this crazy childish game playing bullshit. And huzzah, my sister, take a page out of my book. Yes, just listen. Yeah, you haven't known him long enough. Like, maybe you have a professional connection with him, but that doesn't mean you have to maintain a professional connection with him. Um, but yeah, I mean, and I'm always leery of people who want to buy you extravagant gifts right out the gate, like second date they want to buy you something. I had that
What
happen.
did he buy?
He spent a hefty amount of money getting her set up with a vape
Oh,
system.
the baby.
And those can be very, very expensive, and he did spend a hefty chunk of change on that. Um my mom's husband, now he uh 2 or 3 months into their relationship, bought her a $10,000 car truck. Like, and I dated a guy very, very briefly who wanted to buy me a new TV and wanted to give me this and wanted to give me that. And I'm like, listen, buddy, I think it's great that you want to show your support of me in a monetary way. That's fabulous. Um, but we've only been on 2 dates, and I don't even know your mama's name. And I don't
Tell
even
me your
think
mama's name
Right.
first.
And I don't even think you know my real first name, because all you know is the name that I go by. So I think, although you've put it in my vagina and we've had a couple of fabulous dates, I don't think you need to be pouring that amount of money into me, because at some point you're going to say, but I have spent X number of dollars on you. And I was in a relationship with a guy where he made quite a bit more money than I did. And I'm not going to say a mooch, but I mean, he had more money than I did. He offered to pay all the time. I tried to help. I offered to pay. I did what I thought was right, but when we were breaking up, in the process of the breakup, all he could ever talk about was how he always paid for everything. And I was like, "You know what? Never again. I am never again going to be in a relationship uh where I feel bought." Do you know what I mean? Where I feel paid for. It'd be one thing if I'm a stay-at-home mom and you're buying these things because
Mhm.
that's how our relationship works, but Never again am I going to let a guy spend that kind of money on me. Now, Cali guy does, but that wasn't until well into our relationship. Um, so I'm okay with it now because like he's fucked. He's tied for life. I mean, we may not be married, but we might as well be.
Yeah.
So
We have to hit up a break here. 8:30. I
8:30.
have to pee.
Oh, you have to pay. All right, let me
I
set
have
up
to
a break.
try handling a little mommy stuff on the
Talk
side here.
about some
Yeah,
Orange
when
is
we
the New
get
Black
back,
stuff.
we'll
Oh, when we
talk
get
about
back.
some of this.
All right. Well, give
I
me a
want to
minute. I
talk.
gotta set up a break.
I want to talk about when we get back. I want to talk about the whole. I'm not gonna say this right, but Dolce and Gabbana, Dolce and Garbona, Garbonza,
Dolce and
Garbana, right?
Gabbana.
Gabbana,
Gabbana, no R.
Gabbana, Gabbana.
I don't
I
know
have
anything
a I
about
have a
them.
pair of fake D&Gs in my bag that I bought from a swap meet, but I definitely want to talk about them when we come back. And also, uh, Whitney Houston's daughter. We haven't talked about her
Is
and
she?
what's going on.
She's still alive, right?
She is still, yeah, she's in a coma and they've said there's no brain activity and her dad's keeping her alive. So that's something to talk about too when we get back here. I also have a text out to the girls, see if either of them feel like calling in. I have not, as of yet, received any responses to the ads. But if you do feel like calling in and you want to chat with us, let me know and message me on Facebook, and
We'll be right
we'll
back.
get you in.
Yeehaw! This cowboy here loves riding bareback. Come here, young filly.
Whoa! Hold your horses there, stranger. This here filly don't take